I'm drawn to his story, not just because he was an emperor, but because he was a visionary, a philosopher king who saw Rome as more than a city or an empire. He saw it as an idea, one that could be shaped, expanded, and preserved through architecture, culture, and innovation. Welcome to ASMR History, where I take you on whispered journeys through the lives of history's most fascinating figures. Tonight I invite you to relax and join me in exploring the life of Hadrian, a man who has come to be known as the Builder Emperor. His reign was a masterpiece, blending artistic brilliance, sweeping reforms, and monumental achievements. Together we'll uncover how his life shaped not just Rome, but the world it touched. What makes Hadrian so compelling to me is that he wasn't like other rulers of his time. While many sought glory through conquest, Hadrian chose a different path. He traded the battlefield for the road, walking the length and breadth of his empire, meeting its people, listening to their needs, and leaving behind works that endure to this day. His aqueducts defied gravity, his walls tamed wild frontiers, and his policies brought stability to an empire, often in chaos. As one observer wrote of him, he sought not only to rule Rome, but to transform it, leaving his mark in stone and policy. I find Hadrian's life important because it's a reminder of what vision and leadership can achieve. In a time of turmoil, he brought stability. In a world divided, he fostered unity. His reign teaches us that true strength isn't always found in conquest, but in the bridges we build, both literal and metaphorical. He believed in connecting people and ideas, and his legacy still inspires those who walk in his shadow. In this journey, I'll take you through the chapters of his remarkable life. His early days as a boy from Italica, his rise to power, his groundbreaking philosophy of rule, and the personal relationships that shaped his reign. We'll explore his triumphs and the challenges that defined him, discovering the man behind the marble monuments. But before Hadrian became the emperor, we know he was just a boy with a name and a destiny. His story begins far from Rome's grand palaces, in the shadow of ambition and legacy. Let's step back to where it all started. The early life of a boy destined to change the course of history. Hadrian's journey to the heights of Roman power began far from the marble halls of the Eternal City, in a land often considered on the periphery of the empire. Born as Publius Aelius Hadrianus in 76 CE in Italica, a modest Roman settlement in the province of Hispania, his beginnings were a blend of provincial obscurity and latent promise. While the town itself was unremarkable compared to Rome's grandeur, Hadrian's family carried the weight of influence and wealth that reached into the corridors of imperial power. His father, an esteemed senator, ensured that the Hadrian name was synonymous with prestige, even in the provinces. The Historia Augusta later wrote, "The Hadrian family, though from the provinces, carried the legacy of Roman ambition, capturing the essence of a lineage that straddled both the margins and the heart of Roman authority. This legacy, combined with his family's ties to the imperial elite, most notably his cousin Trajan, who would later ascend to the throne, set the stage for Hadrian's transformation from a provincial boy rigorous education, carefully designed to mould him into a figure worthy of the Roman elite. From an early age, he was immersed in the classical disciplines of literature, philosophy, and rhetoric, hallmarks of a Roman aristocrat's education. Yet, Hadrian's intellectual curiosity set him apart from his peers. He developed an almost obsessive fascination with Greece, a land he viewed as the epitome of cultural sophistication and intellectual achievement. This passion earned him the nickname Graeculus, or Little Greek, a label that carried a mix of admiration and ridicule within Roman society. Rather than being deterred by the moniker, Hadrian wore it as a badge of honour, embracing Hellenic culture with a fervour that would later define his reign. His love of Greek art, architecture, and philosophy wasn't merely an aesthetic preference, but a driving force behind many of his policies and projects as emperor. Under his leadership, Rome became a canvas for Greek-inspired innovation, blending the two cultures into a legacy that endures to this day. Hadrian's immersion in Hellenic ideals was not just a personal passion, it was the seed of a vision that would shape the Roman Empire's identity for generations. But Hadrian was not merely a scholar. His life prepared him for the harsh realities of war and the complex demands of governance. From a young age, he served under the watchful eye of his relative, Emperor Trajan, a man known for his military conquests and administrative brilliance. Trajan's patronage was instrumental to Hadrian's ascent, offering him not only opportunities, but also a model of leadership to emulate. The young Hadrian accompanied Trajan on numerous campaigns, immersing himself in the realities of the battlefield and the intricacies of command. These experiences proved transformative, revealing a man of unyielding discipline, sharp strategic acumen, and remarkable endurance. His service under Trajan was not merely ceremonial. Hadrian was actively involved in the logistical and tactical aspects of the campaigns, earning the respect of the emperor and his soldiers alike. Dio Cassius later remarked, "He showed discipline in battle and cunning in strategy, winning Trajan's favour, a testament to the young man's ability to navigate both the brutality of war and the politics of command." Hadrian's military prowess extended beyond the physical. He had a knack for diplomacy and logistics, crucial elements in maintaining an empire that spanned continents. These qualities cemented his position as one of Trajan's most trusted protégés, positioning him as an indispensable figure within the emperor's inner circle. The mentorship and favour he received from Trajan would become the cornerstone of Hadrian's eventual claim to power. But it was not without its challenges. The path to supreme power in Rome was rarely straightforward, and Hadrian's rise was no exception. Despite his accomplishments on the battlefield and within the imperial administration, his claim to the throne was steeped in ambiguity and intrigue. In Rome, succession was often a murky affair, heavily influenced by political manoeuvring and the whims of power players within the imperial court. While Trajan's adoption of Hadrian, a critical prerequisite for succession, was officially recognised, it remained shrouded in mystery. Trajan, who was gravely ill at the time, left no direct public declaration naming Hadrian as his heir. This vacuum of clarity opened the door to speculation and whispers of manipulation. Some accounts suggest that Trajan's wife, Plotina, played a pivotal role in securing Hadrian's position as her husband's successor. Known for her political savvy and influence within the imperial court, Plotina is said to have orchestrated the adoption, ensuring Hadrian's ascension even in the absence of Trajan's explicit endorsement. The Historia Augusta recorded, Hadrian's rise was whispered to be guided by the empress's hand, though Rome's senators murmured otherwise. These rumours fuelled tensions within the Senate, where many viewed Hadrian's succession with scepticism, questioning the legitimacy of his claim. Yet, the empress's manoeuvring, combined with Hadrian's proven capabilities and established reputation, rendered opposition futile. Hadrian's ascent was not simply a matter of familial favour or political manipulation. It was a culmination of years of service, skill, and the cultivation of alliances. While his succession may have been controversial, it was undeniable that Hadrian possessed the qualities necessary to guide Rome. His journey to power reflected the precarious balance of loyalty, ambition, and sheer will that defined the politics of the Roman Empire. Once on the throne, he would have to prove to the senators, soldiers, and citizens alike that he was not merely Trajan's heir, but a ruler worthy of Rome's imperial legacy. When Trajan died in 117 CE, Hadrian's succession was not without contention, but his calculated charm and support from key allies secured his position. Now the boy from Italica stood at the helm of the greatest empire the world had ever known. The transition of power, though fraught with tension, signalled a new chapter for Rome, a chapter that Hadrian would write with vision and precision. Hadrian's early life and rise to power reveal a man who was as much a product of his circumstances as he was a shaper of them. His education, military discipline, and ability to navigate the treacherous waters of Roman politics prepared him to lead. But his story does not end with his ascension to the throne. It is in his philosophy of rule that Hadrian truly distinguished himself, crafting a vision for Rome that would outlast his own reign. Let us now explore how this builder emperor governed, weaving his ideals into the very fabric of the empire. Hadrian's philosophy of rule marked a decisive shift in the course of Roman governance. Unlike his predecessor Trajan, whose reign was defined by relentless expansion and the swelling of Rome's borders, Hadrian believed the empire's strength lay not in the conquest of new lands, but in the fortification and flourishing of what had already been won. He envisioned a Rome that thrived through stability, unity, and cultural harmony, a philosophy as pragmatic as it was visionary. A ruler must protect what is his before reaching for more, wrote Dio Cassius, encapsulating Hadrian's approach to leadership. Central to Hadrian's vision was the idea of consolidation over expansion. Upon ascending to the throne, he abandoned Trajan's ongoing campaigns in the distant east, recognizing the strain they placed on the empire's resources. Instead, he fortified Rome's borders, constructing Hadrian's Wall in Britain, a marvel of engineering that symbolised his commitment to safeguarding Rome's frontiers. These actions were not merely defensive but strategic, ensuring that the empire could endure the pressures of its vast size without collapsing under its own weight. For Hadrian, sustainable governance was far superior to the fleeting glory of conquest. Hadrian's philosophy extended beyond military and political consolidation to embrace cultural integration. Unlike many Roman emperors who imposed Roman traditions on conquered peoples, Hadrian celebrated diversity within his empire. He encouraged provinces to retain their local customs, blending them with Roman practices to create a mosaic of cultural unity. Nowhere was this more evident than in his admiration for Greek culture, which he infused into Roman life with vigour. Temples were built, festivals were celebrated, and Greek art and philosophy flourished under his reign. Rome's strength lies in unity, not uniformity, he once said, a principle that guided his efforts to create a harmonious and enduring empire. Hadrian also left his mark on Rome's legal and administrative structures. He understood that the empire's longevity depended on the fairness and efficiency of its governance. Under his rule, new laws were introduced to improve the rights of citizens, particularly for women and slaves, who had long been marginalised within Roman society. He streamlined the legal codes, reducing corruption and ensuring that justice was accessible even in the empire's farthest provinces. These reforms not only strengthened the bonds between Rome and its subjects, but also underscored Hadrian's commitment to a just and equitable rule. Hadrian's approach to governance was one of balance, protecting the empire's borders while nurturing its internal strength, embracing cultural diversity while fostering unity, and advancing reforms that reflected the ideals of fairness and justice. His reign stood as a testament to the power of leadership, rooted in pragmatism, innovation, and a deep understanding of the human condition. Yet Hadrian's vision of Rome could not be fully realised from the confines of the imperial palace. To bring his philosophy to life, he became a ruler on the move, traversing the vast expanse of the Roman world to connect with its people and witness the fruits of his policies firsthand. His travels were not merely symbolic, they were the embodiment of his belief that an emperor must be both present and engaged with the lives of his subjects. Let us now journey alongside Hadrian as he sets out to walk the roads of his empire, leaving his mark on its cities, its people, and its future. Hadrian was no ordinary emperor, content to rule from the marble halls of Rome. Instead, he became a restless traveller, a leader who believed that the heart of his empire lay not in the Senate, but in the farthest reaches of its provinces. His journeys were not acts of indulgence, but deliberate moves to reinforce imperial unity, inspect the empire's infrastructure, and ensure the loyalty of its diverse peoples. He journeyed not as a conqueror, but as a caretaker of the empire, wrote the Historia Augusta, and it was this philosophy that guided his travels. One of Hadrian's first significant stops was Britain, where the challenges of the northern frontier demanded attention. It was here that Hadrian oversaw the construction of his most iconic project, Hadrian's Wall. Stretching across the rugged landscape, this formidable barrier symbolised Rome's strength and its limits. Hadrian understood that securing the empire's borders was as much about protecting its people as it was about projecting power. By standing on this edge of the known world, he demonstrated that no province was too distant or insignificant to warrant his care. From Britain, Hadrian turned his eyes eastward, journeying to Greece, a land he deeply admired. Here, he did not merely visit as an emperor, but embraced the role of a scholar and patron of culture. In Athens, he supported the Pan-Hellenic League, an alliance of Greek city-states that reflected his vision of unity through collaboration. Under his guidance, Athens flourished as a cultural hub, with new temples and public works celebrating both Greek heritage and its place within the Roman world. In Athens, he was not an emperor, but a disciple of wisdom, noted Pausanias, capturing Hadrian's reverence for the land that had shaped so much of his intellectual and philosophical life. Hadrian's travels took him even further afield, to the ancient land of Egypt. Here, he marvelled at its grand temples and the enduring legacy of its pharaohs. His visit wasn't merely one of admiration, but a strategic effort to integrate Egypt's ancient heritage into the fabric of Roman identity. By honouring its traditions and celebrating its history, Hadrian fostered a sense of shared pride between the Roman Empire and this vital province. Egypt's rich culture and resources would remain crucial to Rome's prosperity, a bond that Hadrian strengthened through his time there. These journeys were more than symbolic gestures. They left tangible impacts on the provinces and the empire as a whole. Hadrian's presence bolstered local leaders, reassured the people of Rome's commitment, and inspired loyalty in even the most remote corners of the empire. His meticulous inspections led to improved infrastructure, from roads to aqueducts, fostering economic growth and cultural exchange. The provinces thrived under his watchful eye, their prosperity reflecting the care of an emperor who refused to rule from a distance. Hadrian's travels were a testament to his belief that a united empire required a present and engaged ruler. Yet his journeys also revealed the challenges that came with managing such a vast and diverse realm. In some cases, the delicate balance of peace and order was threatened by unrest and rebellion. One such challenge arose in the province of Judea, where Hadrian's policies would ignite the flames of resistance, culminating in the infamous Bar Kokhba revolt. To understand how Hadrian faced this test, we must delve into his military strategy and the events that shaped one of the most turbulent periods of his reign. Hadrian was a ruler who understood the limits of empire. He knew that Rome's sprawling territories could not endure without strong defences and a disciplined military to hold them together. His military strategy was a reflection of this pragmatic mindset, prioritising consolidation over expansion. In Britannia, his approach took its most visible form, Hadrian's Wall, stretching across the rugged northern frontier. The wall was more than a defence to Roman order, remarked Tacitus, capturing the significance of such fortifications. Hadrian's vision for the empire was not about endless conquest, but about creating a sustainable and secure foundation for the future. To achieve this, Hadrian undertook sweeping reforms within the Roman legions. He modernized their equipment, streamlined logistics, and emphasized discipline and training, ensuring that every soldier was a testament to Rome's enduring strength. His focus on defensive fortifications extended beyond Britain. Vulnerable borders in the east and north were reinforced with a network of forts and watchtowers, creating a system designed to repel invaders and maintain control over remote regions. These measures reflected Hadrian's belief that Rome's survival depended on its ability to adapt, fortify, and endure. Yet, even the most calculated strategies could not always prevent unrest within the empire's borders. One of the most severe challenges of Hadrian's reign erupted in the province of Judea, where his policies would ignite a rebellion of unprecedented ferocity. The Bar Kokhba revolt, as it came to be known, tested Hadrian's leadership and revealed the fragile balance between reform and resistance. The seed of the revolt was sown by a series of measures that deeply alienated the Jewish population of Judea. Hadrian's plans to rebuild Jerusalem as a Roman city, Aelia Capitolina, were seen not as restoration but as desecration. The decision to ban circumcision, a cornerstone of Jewish identity, further inflamed tensions. To the Jews, these acts were not reforms, but provocations. They felt not the hand of a ruler, but the heel of a conqueror, wrote Dio Cassius, describing the growing resentment that simmered into rebellion. Under the leadership of Simon Bar Kokhba, the Jewish forces mounted a fierce resistance against Roman rule. Bar Kokhba, proclaimed as the Messiah by his followers, led an organized and relentless uprising that took the empire by surprise. Entire legions were dispatched to Judea to quell the rebellion, yet the Jewish fighters held their ground with a resilience that demanded Rome's full might to overcome. The revolt raged for nearly 3 years, turning Judea into a battlefield of destruction and despair. Hadrian's response was brutal and unyielding. Determined to crush the rebellion, he brought reinforcements from across the empire, including some of Rome's most experienced generals. The suppression of the revolt was marked by scorched earth tactics and overwhelming force, leaving the province devastated. By the time the uprising was quelled, hundreds of thousands had perished, and the Jewish population had been decimated. Jerusalem was left in ruins, and Judea was renamed Syria Palestina, a symbolic act meant to erase the region's Jewish identity. The aftermath of the Bar Kokhba revolt was a turning point in Roman and Jewish history. For Hadrian, it was a harsh reminder of the challenges of ruling an empire as diverse as Rome. His policies, though often progressive, could not always reconcile the deeply rooted traditions and identities of its people. The devastation wrought by the rebellion cast a shadow over his reign, even as his other accomplishments continued to shine. Hadrian's reign was a blend of resilience and ambition, discipline and innovation. While his military strategies secured Rome's borders, they could not always prevent the fires of rebellion from igniting within. Yet Hadrian's vision for the empire endured, not only through his policies and reforms, but also through the architectural wonders that bore his name. To truly understand the legacy of Hadrian, one must look to the structures he left behind, each a testament to his ingenuity and the enduring spirit of Rome. Hadrian's name is immortalised not only through the policies he enacted or the walls he built, but through the awe-inspiring architecture that still stands as a testament to his genius. His reign marked a golden age of Roman construction, blending engineering prowess with artistic vision. To Hadrian, architecture was more than a means of utility. It was a canvas for expressing the grandeur of Rome and the universality of its ideals. The Pantheon stands as perhaps the most iconic example of Hadrian's architectural legacy. Though the inscription on its facade attributes it to Marcus Agrippa, the structure as we know it today was rebuilt during Hadrian's reign. The emperor, in an act of humility unusual for his time, chose not to inscribe his own name, allowing the work to pay homage to its origins. The Pantheon's dome, an unparalleled marvel of engineering, was a symbol of Rome's dominion over the heavens. Its oculus, open to the sky, created a connection between the divine and the mortal, a place where all gods and all times converged. Let it be a temple for all gods and all times, wrote the Historia Augusta, capturing the essence of its purpose. The impact of the Pantheon's design rippled across the empire and beyond. Its harmonious proportions and innovative use of concrete set new standards for architectural excellence. Later architects, from the builders of Roman basilicas to Renaissance visionaries like Michelangelo, drew inspiration from Hadrian's masterpiece. The Pantheon was not merely a building, it was a statement, a reminder of Rome's ability to marry practicality with poetic beauty. While the Pantheon defined Hadrian's vision of a celestial Rome, his villa at Tivoli reflected the breadth of his personal passions. Situated outside the city, Hadrian's villa was a sprawling complex that encapsulated his love for the cultures he so admired. From the Greek-inspired colonnades to the Egyptian-influenced canopus pool, the villa was a microcosm of the ancient world. It was here that Hadrian recreated the monuments and landscapes he had encountered on his travels, each corner of the villa echoing a memory or an ideal. In Tivoli, he recreated the world he loved, piece by piece. Observed the Historia Augusta. The villa was not only a retreat, but a reflection of Hadrian's cosmopolitan spirit and his desire to celebrate the diversity of his empire. Hadrian's architectural ambitions extended to the heart of Rome itself. The Temple of Venus and Roma, his most ambitious project within the city, was a colossal shrine dedicated to the goddesses of love and the eternal city. Designed with input from Hadrian himself, the temple featured innovations that highlighted his ingenuity, including double apses and a massive scale previously unseen in Roman religious structures. largest temple in Rome, a shrine to beauty and eternity, declared the Historia Augusta. Its grandeur stood as a testament to Hadrian's belief in the enduring power of Rome's cultural and spiritual identity. Through these projects, Hadrian transformed the landscape of his empire, leaving behind structures that were as functional as they were inspiring. Each building told a story, whether of divine connection, personal passion, or the eternal spirit of Rome. Yet, as impressive as these monuments are, they cannot fully encapsulate the man behind them. To understand Hadrian's heart and humanity, we must turn our attention to his personal life and relationships, where his joys, sorrows, and complexities come to light. Hadrian's personal life was as layered and complex as the empire he ruled, while his architectural feats and administrative reforms defined his public persona. It was his relationships that revealed the man behind the emperor. Love, loss, and loyalty intertwined in ways that both strengthened and challenged him, shaping his legacy in deeply human terms. Hadrian's marriage to Vibia Sabina was less a romantic union and more a strategic alliance. As the great niece of Emperor Trajan, Sabina's lineage lent political legitimacy to Hadrian's rule. Their marriage symbolized the continuation of the Nerva-Antonine dynasty, a calculated move to solidify his claim to the throne. However, behind the gilded appearances, their relationship was fraught with tension. Sabina was known for her sharp wit and independent spirit, qualities that often clashed with Hadrian's meticulous nature. The two grew estranged over the years, their union becoming more symbolic than personal. Though they shared the same imperial courts and duties, their lives often ran parallel rather than intertwined. If his marriage was defined by duty, his relationship with Antinous was a connection of profound emotion and devotion. Antinous, a young Greek of striking beauty, entered Hadrian's life as a companion and quickly became a central figure in his personal world. Their bond transcended the boundaries of mere friendship, rooted in shared interests, mutual admiration, and an almost spiritual closeness. Hadrian's travels through the provinces often included Antinous by his side, a testament to the depth of their connection. Tragedy struck in 130 CE when Antinous drowned in the Nile under circumstances that remained shrouded in mystery. His death devastated Hadrian, leaving a void that the emperor sought to fill with acts of immortalization. In an unprecedented display of grief and reverence, Hadrian deified Antinous, declaring him a god and commissioning statues, temples, and altars in his honour throughout the empire. He honoured Antinous as a god, immortalized in statues across the empire, recorded that were Historia Augusta. Cities were named after him, coins were minted with his likeness, and the cult of Antinous became a unique blend of personal devotion and public veneration. This act of deification was more than a gesture of mourning. It was an enduring expression of Hadrian's humanity. For an emperor celebrated for his stoic philosophy and calculated governance, his response to Antinous' death was deeply emotional, a glimpse into the vulnerability that lay beneath the marble facade of his rule. Through Antinous, Hadrian revealed a capacity for love and loss that resonated far beyond his lifetime, leaving a legacy of statues and stories that still capture imaginations today. Hadrian's personal life was a study in contrasts. His marriage to Sabina reflected the pragmatic demands of power, while his relationship with Antinous showcased the depth of his emotions and his ability to connect with those closest to him. These relationships, with all their complexities, offer a window into the heart of an emperor often remembered for his mind. Yet, as with all lives, even those of emperors, Hadrian's journey was moving toward its inevitable conclusion. To understand the final chapter of his story is to see how a man of such ambition and intellect faced the closing years of his life. As Hadrian entered the twilight of his life, the emperor who had once roamed the farthest reaches of his empire retreated into the sanctuary of his sprawling villa at Tivoli. The grand estate, a masterpiece inspired by the cultures he adored, now became his refuge from the demands of rule. Here, surrounded by the architectural wonders he had designed, Hadrian faced his greatest adversary, the slow but unrelenting decline of his health. His once tireless energy was sapped by chronic pain and a mysterious illness that left him increasingly isolated and introspective. Even emperors must bow to the ravages of time, wrote the Historia Augusta, a poignant reminder that even Rome's greatest builders could not construct a wall against mortality. Despite his failing health, Hadrian's mind remained sharp, focused on ensuring the empire's stability beyond his reign. Succession was a delicate matter for any Roman emperor, fraught with intrigue and the potential for upheaval. Determined to avoid the chaos that had plagued previous transitions of power, Hadrian took steps to secure a smooth handover. In 138 CE, he adopted Antoninus Pius, a respected senator with a reputation for fairness and integrity, naming him as his heir. This decision was not merely a reflection of Hadrian's political acumen, but a testament to his commitment to Rome's future. Hadrian's choice of Antoninus Pius was not without strings. He required his successor to adopt two young men, Marcus Aurelius and Lucius Verus, ensuring a dynastic continuity that would extend beyond Antoninus's own lifetime. This meticulous planning demonstrated Hadrian's foresight, ensuring that the empire he had spent decades fortifying would remain strong long after his death. It was a final act of governance from a ruler who had always looked to the horizon, building for the ages. The final months of Hadrian's life were marked by increasing seclusion and profound reflection. Struggling with his physical ailments, he reportedly considered taking his own life, only to be dissuaded by those closest to him. Yet even in his suffering, he continued to express his artistic spirit. A poem attributed to Hadrian, written as he neared the end, reveals a man grappling with the transition from life to death. Little soul, wandering and pale, guest and companion of my body, into what places will you go now? Bare, cold, and without your jokes. This bittersweet verse offers a glimpse into the mind of an emperor who had spent his life creating and preserving, now contemplating the impermanence of all things. died on July 10th, 138 CE, at the age of 62. His body was initially interred at Puteoli, but later moved to the mausoleum he had constructed in Rome, a structure that would become one of his enduring contributions to the city's landscape. Though his passing marked the end of a transformative era, his legacy was far from confined to the pages of history. The walls, roads, and monuments he left behind continued to shape the Roman world, and the policies he enacted laid a foundation for the empire's future. Hadrian's final years were a testament to his humanity, a blend of strength and vulnerability, vision and resignation. Yet it is in his enduring legacy, both physical and philosophical, that his story truly lives on. To understand the full impact of Hadrian's life, we must turn to the legacy he left for Rome and the world beyond. Hadrian's legacy endures in stone, policy, and the cultural fabric of the Roman Empire. Long after his death, the emperor's vision continued to shape the empire he once ruled, his contributions immortalized in monuments that stood as testaments to his ingenuity. Few leaders have left a mark as profound as Hadrian, whose passion for architecture, philosophy, and governance intertwined to create a legacy that transcended his time. The architectural wonders Hadrian commissioned remain some of the most enduring symbols of Roman civilization. The Pantheon, with its majestic dome and celestial oculus, is a marvel of engineering and an emblem of the emperor's ambitious spirit. It has inspired architects for centuries. Its design echoed in cathedrals, state buildings, and memorials around the world. Similarly, Hadrian's Wall, stretching across the wilds of Britannia, is a reminder of his commitment to fortifying Rome's borders and ensuring the stability of the empire. These structures are more than remnants of the past. They are symbols of a ruler who understood the power of architecture to embody ideals and unify a diverse empire. Beyond his physical contributions, Hadrian's patronage of culture and the arts reshaped Roman identity. His admiration for Greek philosophy and art introduced a renewed Hellenic influence to Roman society, blending two great traditions into a cultural mosaic. Athens, revitalized under his reign, became a hub of intellectual and artistic activity, its grandeur reflective of Hadrian's vision of cultural unity. By celebrating diversity while championing Rome's universal ideals, he forged a cultural legacy that emphasized inclusion, innovation, and shared heritage. Even in death, Hadrian's influence resonated throughout the empire. He was deified, a tradition reserved for emperors who had earned the respect and admiration of Rome's people. Temples were dedicated in his honour, and the construction of Hadrian's mausoleum, today known as Castel Sant'Angelo, ensured that his memory would be etched into the very heart of Rome. The mausoleum, an imposing and elegant structure, became both a personal resting place and a symbol of imperial grandeur. Rome remembers Hadrian not just as an emperor, but as a visionary, wrote the Historia Augusta, capturing the essence of his enduring legacy. Hadrian's story is a reminder of how leadership, driven by vision and a commitment to the future, can leave an indelible mark on Hadrian's life and reign, we must take a step back and reflect on the larger narrative of his journey. It is in the conclusion of his story that we see the true measure of a man who sought to build not just for his time, but for eternity. Hadrian's life is a story of ambition, resilience, and vision, a story that resonates across the centuries. As I reflect on his reign, I can't help but marvel at the depth of his legacy. He was more than an emperor. He was a builder of walls, of temples, of bridges, but also a builder of ideas, connections, and unity. Hadrian's life reminds us of the power of leadership to shape not just nations, but the hearts and minds of people. What strikes me most about Hadrian is his ability to balance pragmatism with passion. He understood the necessity of fortifying Rome's borders, yet he also saw the beauty in celebrating the diversity within them. His travels weren't just about governance, they were about understanding his empire and the people who lived within it. Whether standing atop Hadrian's wall in Britannia or wandering the gardens of his villa at Tivoli, you can feel the echoes of a man who saw the world not as a collection of territories, but as a tapestry of cultures, beliefs, and possibilities. His innovations in architecture, from the celestial pantheon to the sprawling Hadrian's villa, are as much about the future as they were about his own time. He didn't just build for Rome, he built for eternity. Yet, beyond the grandeur of his creations lies the human Hadrian, the man who mourned the loss of Antinous with such devotion that he deified him, the ruler who strove to ensure stability after his death, and the poet who reflected on his own mortality in words that still move us today. Hadrian's life is a testament to the enduring impact of leadership guided by vision. He knew that true power comes not from conquest, but from creating something that lasts, from forging connections, celebrating diversity, and leaving the world stronger than he found it. His reign was a reminder that greatness lies not only in what we achieve, but in how those achievements echo through time. As we close this chapter on Hadrian's life, I want to thank you for joining me on this journey through the past. If his story resonated with you, there are so many more tales waiting to be uncovered. Stories of leaders, dreamers, and innovators who shaped our world. Please consider subscribing to ASMR History to join me for more whispered journeys through history, and, as always, sleep